What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, back for another Thursday night football recap. Thanksgiving football between two NFC East rivals fighting for the crown in the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys advanced to 10-1 with a 31-26 victory over the Washington Redskins, who now fall to 6-4-1 on the season. This was a very entertaining football game for much of the game, especially the second half, where there was just tons of points thrown on the board. Another huge performance passing-wise from the Washington Redskins offense. Kirk Cousins, 41 for 53, 449 yards and 3 touchdowns. Definitely considered one of the MVPs of the game. You go over to Dak Prescott, who did it both with his arm and his legs. He had 17 for 24, 195 yards, a touchdown, passing with 108.9 passer rating, and on the ground he carried it 8 times for 39 yards and another touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott was again a monster for the Dallas Cowboys, 20 carries, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns with a near 5 yards per carry. Robert Kelly and Chris Thompson of the Redskins weren't really able to get it done on the ground. Kelly, 14 carries, 37 yards, and Chris Thompson, 4 carries for 17 yards. So a lot of the offense really came from the passing game in this game, especially for the Washington Redskins. I think the main difference in this game really was the red zone offense and defense for both teams. The red zone efficiency for both teams, and I think that the Dallas Cowboys were the difference in the red area. They were able to put the ball in the end zone, which is, of course, the ultimate goal for your offense. But the Redskins, especially early on, weren't able to get the ball into the end zone when it really mattered. They drove down the field, had a couple of very sustainable drives there, and got near the 10-yard line, even as close as the 5-yard line, and weren't able to punch the ball in. They had to kick some field goals. They did miss 2 field goals in this football game, and that really cost them at the end of the day. They could have won this game 32-31 with those 2 field goals, but even without, they just missed opportunities in this game in the red zone specifically. Looking at how many yards they had in this game, they definitely could have won this game. Deshaun Jackson had a huge catch, 67-yard touchdown. He also had 4 receptions for 118 yards and a touchdown in this game on 8 targets. Jordan Reed was the guy that let the Redskins get back in this game. Him and Jamison Crowder were basically uncoverable in the Dallas secondary. They were running wide open all day long in the second half. Jordan Reed could not be covered. They tried Byron Jones on him for much of the day. That didn't really get it done. Jordan Reed had 10 catches for 95 yards and 2 scores. He made one amazing one-handed catch, which was unreal near the end zone. Jamison Crowder was very shifty after the catch. He had 8 catches for 88 yards. A lot of that coming after he actually caught the ball. He had a long catch also in the first half on, I think, the Washington first drive of 38 yards on 10 targets. Vernon Davis was pretty sneaky in this game. He had 5 catches for 68, and Pierre Garçon had 4 for 43. So the Washington Redskins offense was definitely moving the ball. They were moving the ball at will pretty much most of the game. But Dallas did a really good job at protecting their end zone and forcing field goals. And at the end of the day, it's points that matters, not yards. So the Dallas Cowboys, their halftime lead was the big deal here. 17-6 at halftime. They were able to play their game for the second half, which is they're able to run the football, they're able to milk the clock, and they're able to, take that offense off the field as long as they can. To beat the Cowboys, it's going to seem like you're going to need to get up early on them. You need to score a lot of points, and you're going to need to convert in the red zone. You're going to have to take away that run game from them, not just on defense, but by your offense putting up points so that they are forced to pass the ball. That's the best way to beat the Cowboys, and Washington was just too late to the party on this day. Defensively, I thought Sean Lee played very well. He had the most tackles of any defensive player. He had 14 tackles, and this was another huge difference between the Washington and Dallas defense. I thought Dallas, especially early on, when they were getting their stops, is they were able to tackle those shifty wide receivers, for short yardage. They would catch the ball, and then they would tackle, and Sean Lee was a big reason for that. J.J. Wilcox had a couple of big hits, which he's known for. Byron Jones had a lot of tackles, but most of that was due to because he kept getting beat. Brandon Carr, again, they also tried Brandon Carr on Jordan Reed because Jordan Reed is pretty much a receiver. Kendall Fuller had the most tackles for Washington, but only one team had one sack in this game. Both offensive lines I thought played very well. Both offensive lines are both pretty good. Ryan Kerrigan did have the sack in this game. That's another concern for Dallas, though, is they haven't been able to get consistent pressure. And in this game, they didn't have any sacks, and they had 4 tackles for loss. Their run defense did play pretty well. As I said, they took away Robert Kelly, and they made Washington one-dimensional in this football game. But Kirk Cousins continues to prove that he's been one of the best quarterbacks in this season. He's probably top 10 quarterback, and he's played really, really well and deserves that money for his contract. Dak Prescott, man, he again makes plays with his legs and extends plays, and he's able to get away from pass rushes, and he's able to, extend for guys like Cole Beasley, Des Bryant, and those guys to get down the field and get open for their plays. Now let's get to my, notes of the game. I thought that Dallas really started strong, of course, and I think that their main goal right off the bat was, let's just shove the ball down their throat. And let's see how far we can go with running the ball. A lot of their runs were to the outside. A lot of them were like stretch zone runs to the outside. And they were really stressing the defense of Washington to the outside. And I thought they were very effective with that game plan. It was kind of interesting to see that they didn't really go back to many of those outside runs later in the game. I don't know why. But that was able to, open up Dak's ability to get off the play action and the play action boots later in the game, which was a big threat for them with his touchdown coming from a play action boot play. So good stuff from Dallas early on, especially Ezekiel Elliott, and that offensive line was like pushing guys like 10 yards down the field to I tweeted that they pushed them to like the first down marker. It was so ridiculous how dominant Dallas's offensive line was. But the Redskins really played a lot better after the first drive defensively, especially against the run. In the second half, they didn't play so good against the pass. I thought Dallas was forced into a lot of situations where they needed to make plays. 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs in Dak, and those receivers just continued to come through, which is a positive sign if you're a Cowboys fan for sure. There was a missed field goal early in the game, which was huge. There was also a missed field goal because of the sun, which I thought was a stupid attempt because if you're the kicker or like a player on the field, wouldn't you consider this is going to be his longest field goal of the year so far? And it's in a very weird situation and condition where the sun is going right into the kicker's face. I feel like that would have been a better call to punt the ball away and maybe get some better field position. The Redskins also did an onside kick later in the game, which was very interesting. I could see why you would want to go for the onside kick because you figure that Dallas, you couldn't stop Dallas at that point anyways, so why not try the onside kick? I understand that. Plus, if Dallas was backed up, they may have taken away more time by driving all the way down the field. It's interesting. I think that you could argue either way for that being a good call or not. I know some people will feel strongly either way. For me, I think that's basically Washington. It says two things. It basically says, Dallas, we can't stop them. And I think that hurts the confidence of your defense going right back out there. And then we saw Dallas score another touchdown to put the game away. But Washington, if they got that ball, that would have been a huge momentum and game changer right there. So I could argue either way for both sides. I thought the Cowboys' defensive line played pretty well, except for mostly on passing downs. And their secondary got shredded all day long. Deshaun Jackson was left wide open on his touchdown. Jordan Reed was just killing guys one-on-one. Jamison Crowder was killing guys. Like, you can't play man against the Redskins. It was just, they were just shredding them apart. And Kirk Cousins, great on him because he was very accurate in this game, especially deep down the field, like 30, 40 yards down the field. Kirk Cousins was hitting these guys. So was Dak Prescott. He was very accurate along the sidelines, especially on the run. He hit one early on where Beasley was coming across the field, and he threw like a sidearm pass perfectly. Terrence Williams did like the smooth criminal Michael Jackson in the end zone where he toe tapped it. That was pretty crazy. There were some great plays in this game. The Jordan Reed one-hand catch. This was a very good game to watch, especially in the second half, like I said. And I think these two teams are destined for the playoffs. These two teams definitely have the offense to make it there. Their defense just needs to hold up. Looks like Dallas is going to make it. They're already at 10 wins. They're going for the bye. and they might get the first seed. As for Washington, they still need to hold on and continue to win games. I think they'll get there with the way their offense is playing. A lot of teams in the NFL right now are one-dimensional. I think Washington, if they do face Dallas, could give them a very good game. So let's see what happens at the end of the season. But for this game, the Dallas Cowboys take it 31-26 on Thanksgiving. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please Gronk spike the like button and subscribe for more football recaps and discussion videos. It's Mitch at the Bottom Line View. Peace out.